Finally, John, in this space between Donald Trump being elected and taking office, how can this influence decisions from Ukraine, from Russia and from the US?
Well, I think it's all about Donald Trump. There's 10 weeks to go. He has said he can solve it in 24 hours. Both sides expect a negotiation. That's why I think the Ukrainians wanted to take Kursk as a bargaining chip. We'll give you back Kursk if you give us Crimea. It's all about trying to postulate and get ready for negotiations. All roads are leading to Donald Trump.
First time. Russia says 6 of the ATACMS missiles were fired into the Berdyansk region, with 5 fully intercepted by air defences. It says one of the missiles fell onto a military facility and ignited a fire. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov denounced the attack and accused the United States of working to escalate the conflict.
The President mentioned this several times. If long-range missiles are going to be applied from Ukraine into Russian territory, it will also mean that they are operated by American experts, military experts. And we will be taking this as a qualitatively new phase of the Western war against Russia, and we'll react accordingly.
The long-range attacks came as Russian President Vladimir Putin approved an updated nuclear doctrine, which says Moscow could consider using nuclear weapons if it was subject to a conventional missile or long-range drone assault supported by a nuclear power. The Pentagon says the change is more irresponsible rhetoric from the aggressor.
We aren't surprised by Russia's update to its nuclear doctrine. It's something that they've been signaling that they intend to update over the last several weeks. It's the same irresponsible rhetoric that we've seen before and that we've seen, frankly, for the past 2 years. It's something that we're going to continue to monitor, but we don't have any indications that Russia is preparing to use a nuclear weapon within Ukraine, and we don't see any, we don't see any changes that need to be made to our own nuclear posture as well.
Global Affairs editor John Lyons joins us now. John, can you explain Putin's new doctrine for us?
Well, yes, Gemma, what he has now signed into law in Russia is a new nuclear doctrine, which says that if there is an attack from a non-nuclear state on Russia, if it's backed by a nuclear state, it will be treated as a joint assault on Russia. It's clearly in light of these new events, in light of the fact that Ukraine is now firing long-term missiles, ballistic missiles. The ATACMS are lethal for a couple of reasons. They're long range, about 300 kilometres. They are being fired into Russia, and they, most importantly, strategically, is they can be fired surface to surface. So rather than the shadow missiles that the British and the French have given to Ukraine, these can be fired from a mobile unit which can hide anywhere. And so the Russians won't know when they see one of these coming in the bushes, they won't know what sort of missile it's got, whether it's got an ATACMS, which goes so fast and is so much more lethal. That's why this is suddenly escalating, because the Russians, this is something they didn't want. The Americans have been living under that threat, though, the whole world has, of, it has more nuclear warheads, Russia, than any other country. So the United States will be ready for this. Hopefully Russia doesn't fire a nuclear weapon. I think that's something everybody wants to avoid. I think, though, I'm sure the Pentagon would have planned this, and I suspect they would have a plan for if he does fire a nuclear weapon, they will have a pretty fierce response, which of course we hope the world doesn't see.